Hi, welcome to Cooking with Christina and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making a Mediterranean tuna salad open-faced sandwich. So it's going to have some really yummy fresh herbs, some avocado, obviously tuna, and some onion and garlic, and some kalamata olives. So we're going to start out with mashing half of an avocado. So the avocado is going to serve as our mayo today. So it's going to kind of keep everything together. And that is a really pretty avocado. All right, and I'm just going to scoop this into a bowl, and I'm just going to mash it until it's mashed enough to be like a mayo. Alrighty, so then we're just going to take a fork and just smash it. Alright, so we finished mashing that. So that is nice and soft. Alright, so then we're going to move on to our fresh herbs. So I've got some thyme, oregano, and basil. So these are kind of the Mediterranean type of herbs. I like to use fresh herbs just because they're super yummy and they look really cool in the salads. But if you don't, you can just use dry herbs. Dry herbs are going to be a lot more concentrated than fresh herbs. So you're going to want to use less dry herbs than fresh herb. So probably about half basically. So if I use about 1 tablespoon of fresh herbs, you're probably only going to want to use a half a tablespoon of dry herbs. So I'm just going to strip these herbs, and then I'm going to give them just a rough chop so they don't have to be minced into tiny, tiny little pieces. Just give it a rough chop so that they become a little bit more aromatic and the oils kind of come out of them a little bit. All right, so I used about 4 sprigs of thyme, so they are all about this size, so not super huge. And then I'm going to move on to the oregano. Oregano is really strong, so you're not going to want to use a ton. So I'm probably only going to use 1 sprig of oregano. Maybe I'll use 1.5. And then our basil. So I'm going to use probably 4 leaves of basil. All right, so I'm just going to chop these up. And then I'm just going to chop up my basil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just roll it. So I'm going to set them on top of each other. And then I'm going to roll them together. And then I'm just going to cut them into little strips. All right, and then I'm going to turn it and then give it a couple more rough chops just so that they're in smaller pieces. So then I've got some prepared tuna here. So I've just shredded the tuna. So I'm going to put in our avocado. And our herbs. And then I'm actually going to add in just a little bit more of some avocado oil, just to give it a little bit more of an oily, oops, that was a lot. Don't put that much in. And then just a little squeeze of lemon, so probably not even a teaspoon. So just a tiny bit, just to give it a little bit of a citrus, tangy flavor. So I'm going to mix this together. It kind of turns it into a fun green color. So kind of fun for the kids. Maybe some green eggs and ham day or something. All right, so that's all mixed in. And then I'm gonna mix in some Kalamata olives. I've already chopped these up into quarters. You can use any type of olive, but I really like Kalamata olives. So I probably used about 5 olives and just quartered them. So I'm just gonna give that a rough mix. I'm just gonna try a little bit. It's tasting really good. It just needs a little bit of salt. And I really like to use kosher salt just because it has less sodium and you can kind of control the saltiness a little bit more instead of with the really fine grain table salt. All right, and then just to add a little bit of spiciness, we're gonna add in some crushed red pepper. Ooh. I like things really spicy, so I'm gonna give a couple more shakes. All right, and then I'm gonna add in a little bit of some crushed fresh pepper. All right, so I'm gonna mix that in. All right, so we are ready to serve this. I'm just gonna toast our bread just a little bit. I like to use a nuttier bread for this recipe just because it plays off of the Mediterranean flavor and it's got kind of a sweet, obviously nutty flavor. So I really, really like it. So we're just gonna wait for those to toast and then we can serve it on top. And then I love to serve it with a little bit of cucumber. So this is some cucumber from our garden. So I just like to give it a little bit of a crunch. So now that our bread is toasted, we're just going to spread it on. And I love to serve them open-faced just because I love the color and just the presentation. It just looks really cool, but obviously you can serve it as a sandwich as well. But yeah, it's just fun to see all of those fresh herbs and the olives, the crushed red pepper. All right, and then I'm just gonna put 2 cucumbers on top. And then just a sprinkle of some fresh thyme, just for some fun presentation. And there we are, some fresh Mediterranean tuna fish sandwiches.